Okay. Um, Number 39, the number of variables in an experiment is limited to one. Okay, you just want to test one variable at a time. A prediction or possible solution to a scientific problem that can be tested is a hypothesis. The factor being tested in an experiment is the variable. Jenna wants to know which brand of new batteries lasts longer in her digital camera. She writes the following statement on her lab sheet: the most massive battery will last the longest. What part of her investigation has she written? She pretty much has not written a hypothesis. Um, she's pretty much written a conclusion. A sixth grade student measured his heart rate at 94 beats per minute every morning at the same time for 2 weeks. In his report, he claimed he proved that sixth graders' heart beat 94 beats times per minute. What is wrong with the report? The student's sample size is too small to prove his claim. He should have taken his heart rate many times over 2 weeks. Sixth graders' hearts do not beat that slowly. Human hearts do not beat that rapidly. So the student measured his heart rate at 94 beats per minute, every morning at the same time for 2 weeks. Then he claimed that a sixth grader's heart beats 94 times per minute. So he's just taking his heart rate. So his sample is too small. Okay. After several days of observing, many of his tropical fish died. Biff set out to find out why. He looked at how clear the water was, smelled for any unusual smells in the water, looked at the filter, and gathered as much data as his five senses would allow. He finally noticed that the temperature of the water was quite high, around 85 degrees. He decided to do an experiment to test his hunch on why the fish were dying. He took half of the water from the aquarium and placed it into another clean aquarium along with half of the fish. In the old aquarium, he turned the temperature down to 75 and set the temperature of the new tank at 85. The next day that he observed that the fish in the original aquarium set at 75 degrees had no dead fish in it, while the new tank at 85 had 3 dead floating at the top. So what was Biff's hypothesis? He basically thought that if the water temperature is 85 degrees, then it is too high, making the fish die. That is pretty much his hypothesis. And you write a hypothesis, I prefer with an if then statement. If the fish are dying, then the 85 degree temperature is too high. The fish are dying, then the 85 is too high compared to the 75 degree water. Okay, some type of if then statement. What are the 3 constants Biff uses controls in his experiment? He pretty much he used same water. Um, he used the same fish. And I suspect that he was probably using the same size tank. Took half the water in another aquarium. I would say probably say, even though it didn't say it, I would probably say same size aquarium. Okay. Or you might have also that would be the control though. Okay. What was the independent variable in the experiment? What was he testing to see if it affected the fish dying? He was affecting the water temperature. That's what he was changing to see if the fish died. What was the dependent variable in the experiment? It was how many fish lived. All right, guys, so your test is the next day, and you can watch these in the morning or at night if you're seeing them posted out tonight. Um, and your test will be easier than some of these questions. I gave you harder questions to get you ready. I hope you find the test easy. Thank you all for hanging in. We're in the middle of week 3. Midterms will be sometime either week 4 or week 5, depending on how fast we move through things. And I appreciate you hanging with the class. And after we get through scientific method, we'll start talking about atoms and the periodic table, more of the content matter of this particular class. All right, thank you.